now live.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are again present here today for the pre-bid conference for civil works under invitation to be 2024-008. We are live via YouTube in compliance with Department Order number 06, series of 2024, which direct us to stream activities like this for accountability and transparency of procurement processes. Before we proceed, may I request the Secretariat to please acknowledge those who are present here today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Our attendees for today's activity, pre-bid conference for civil works for 2nd District Engineer Office. We have here the members, starting with Engineer Bob,
Present.
Vice Chairperson, Engineer Lorna Birbin, present. Regular Member, Engineer Leslie T. Gupto, present. Provisional Member, Engineer Arthur Noel Aylor,
Present.
from the back Secretariat headed by Engineer Edwin T. Pascual Jr.
Present.
Back Secretariat Member, we have Ms. Girlie Verde. From the back TWG, we have here the members, Engineer Ernesto D. Terra Jr.,
Present.
Engineer Melando M. Acosta.
Present.
From the Planning and Design section, we have Engineer Glenn Lawrence Yang,
Present.
Engineer Daryl Anthony Valdez.
Present.
We also have here representatives from Master Construction and Supply Incorporated. We have Sir Ramel Tocoso, Ms. Rose Ann Olea, Mr. Eric Noble,
Present.
and we would also like to acknowledge our viewers via YouTube. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Since the majority of back members present, I hereby declare quorum and call this meeting in order. Agenda. One is the representation explanation. 1A, basic contract data. 1B, requirement of bidding documents. 1C, documents to be submitted by the bidders. 1, technical component of the bid. C2, financial component of the bid. And 1B, criteria and procedure for eligibility check. 2, questions, comments from bidders and replies of back and other representatives of procuring entity. 3, other matters. Strike policy against violation of section 69.1.I of IRR of RA 9184. And 4, summary of proceedings. Okay, any motion to adopt this agenda?
To adopt the present agenda.
Okay, that's been moved by Engineer again and seconded by Engineer Ability. And with no objection, the motion to adopt this agenda is hereby approved. Okay, we have one, the first order of business is the explanation of basic contract data. And this will be discussed to us by the planning design section by Engineer Glenn Ang, Binetary Valdez. Seminaria. Okay. Proceed.
Okay. For the first project, the name of contract is construction of multi-purpose building, Monkayo Central Elementary School, Barangay Poblacion, Monkayo, Davao de Oro, with a contract ID number of 24LI0050, location Davao de Oro, with scope of works, development and construction of 2 complete single-story buildings, each housing 5 classrooms. This encompasses earthworks, concrete works, finishing touches, and various engineering tasks such as plumbing, installation of steel windows with grills, tiling, both glazed and unglazed, painting across concrete, masonry, wood, and steel surfaces, as well as the incorporation of reflective insulation, corrugated roofing, railings, structural steelworks, metal structure accessories, electrical installations, and mechanical systems, including ventilation, fire alarm systems, and fire extinguisher. The approved budget for the contract is 19,799,975 pesos and 0.02 centavos. The source of fund is FY 2024 GAA CSSB BIP. The contract duration is 210 calendar days, including 35 unworkable days. The size range is small b, license category C and D, with a cost of B documents of 25,000 pesos. For the second project, the name of contract is construction of multi-purpose building at Cabinuangan, Bataan, Davao de Oro. The contract ID number is 24LI0051. The location, Davao de Oro. The scope of works, construction of complete covered court with concrete slab, painting work, applied to steel, masonry, and concrete surfaces, as well as marking, court lines, floor finishes, installation of lighting fixtures, provision of weatherproof electrical outlets, and concrete pedestal for the electrical service and branch. The approved budget for the contract is 4,949,997 pesos and 38 centavos. The source of fund is FY 2024 GAA CSSP BIP. The contract duration is 90 calendar days, including 15 unworkable days. The size range is small b, license category C and D, and with cost of video documents of 5,000 pesos. The third project, the name of contract is construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Osmeña, Compostela, Davao de Oro, with contract ID number of 24LI0052. The location is Davao de Oro. Scope of works, construction of complete barangay hall, 12.75 meters by 14.50 meters, incorporating earthworks, reinforced concrete works, planning, tiling, cement plaster, finishing, painting, carpentry and joinery works, along with electrical work, lighting fixtures, outlets, and concrete pedestal, signage and logo installation, provision of air conditioning for the barangay captain's office and conference hall, and the inclusion of stainless steel, water tank, and fire extinguisher. The approved budget for the contract is 6,939,982 pesos and 23 centavos. The source of fund is FY 2024 GAA CSSP BIP. The contract duration is 120 calendar days, including 45 unworkable days. The size range, small b, the license category CNT, and the cost of B documents is 10,000 pesos.
Good morning, everyone. For our last project, we have construction of revetment along Aunan Creek, Junction L/S, leading to Agusan River, Barangay Babag, Monkayo, Davao de Oro, with a contract ID number of 24LI0053, location at Davao de Oro. Scope of works are construction of reinforced concrete revetment with steel sheet piles for foundation, construction of grouted riprap for backslide protection, and construction of gabions for end protection structure. The approved budget for the contract is 144,749,838 and 15 cents. Source of fund is FY 2024 GAA 002. Contract duration is 357 calendar days, including 99 unworkable days. Size range is medium A, license category is B, and cost per documents is 50,000 pesos.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Daryl Valdez and Engineer Glenn Ang, for your explanation of the projects to be procured by interested bidders. Next in order of business is the 1B, requirements of bidding documents, and which will be discussed to us by Engineer Edwin Pascual Jr.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
participate in qualifying or procurement activity, interested bidders are encouraged to read the following documents. First, the instruction to bidders. Second, the bid data sheet. Third, the general conditions of the contract. Fourth, the special conditions of the contract. Fifth, the bill of quantities. Sixth, the drawings and specification. And lastly, the securities and other forms as may be required for the contract. Bidders are strongly advised to read each provision, especially the instruction to bidders, the general conditions of the contract, because special instructions are clearly spelled out in the bid data sheet and special conditions of the contract respectively. Bidders are also encouraged to check the bill of quantities so that your bid will be responsive to the requirements set forth in the bidding documents. These documents can be downloaded free of charge from the PLGF's and DPWH's websites. Interested bidders shall pay the applicable amount for the bidding documents not later than the submission of their bids. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Pascual, for discussing these documents. Next in order of business is the 1C documents to be submitted by the bidders, and this will be discussed to us by Gervin Gardi.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Following documents to be submitted should be included by the interested bidders in their bids, the technical components of the bid, which includes UJEP certificate, B, if not enrolled in the CWA, pickup license and registration, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, SLCC, FCC computation, and statement of total assets and liabilities, joint venture agreement with, if already enrolled in the CWR, eligibility documents to be updated if any, bid security, project requirements such as organizational chart for the contract, list of contractors, key personnel, list of major equipment on or list, and also statement in a prescribed format in accordance to DPWH resolutions in the 2020. For the financial component of the bid, includes the bid form, bid prices and the bill of quantities, detailed estimates including summary sheets indicating the unit prices, construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in the coming up of the bid, and the cash flow by quarter. Please be reminded that the following documents, the omnibus sort statement, bid form, bid security declaration, if you opted to use this type of bid security, should be in the standard format as per the guidelines of the Government Procurement Policy Board in the resolution number 16-2020. And kindly check the formats of the document you are using to avoid being declared non-responsive pursuant for the usage of unprescribed format. This document should be submitted using the two envelope systems. Bidders are urged to only fasten. Let me reiterate this one. We are urging the bidders to follow the instruction to fasten at the topmost portion of the bid documents. Normally, yung mga bidders po natin, like what we have experienced yesterday, meron pa rin hindi nagpa-follow. Yung pinapasan nila dito sa gilid. As here in the second DEO, we are requesting and urging you to please follow to help us ease the burden of filing the documents. Because after the bidding, all the documents should be compiled. So, for us to ease the burden, we are encouraging you to fasten at the topmost portion of the bid documents. And continue. Instead of soft binding or hard binding them, each document should be eared up appropriately based on the document submitted, not on the checklist provided for the preparation of the bidding documents. There shall be 3 copies of each document, the original copy, copy 1, and copy 2. Original copies of the technical component of the bid shall be sealed in one envelope, and the original copies of the financial and technical component of the bid shall be sealed on one envelope. Then finally, this envelope should be labeled as original copy of the technical component and original copy of the financial component. This labeled envelope shall be then sealed to one final envelope, labeled it as original copy of the bid. Same with the copy 1 and the copy 2. Original copy, copy 1 and copy 2 shall be then sealed to one final envelope and labeled it appropriately as instructed in the bidding documents. And we are urging the bidders to please read section 21 of the instruction to bidders, page 40, to fully understand the sealing and markings of the bid. And submit your bids here personally at Davao de Oro, 2nd District Engineering Office, temporarily located at Davao de Oro, 1st Engineering Office, Davao de Oro, on or before March 14, 2024, 10 a.m. Late bids will not be accepted. You also have the option to submit your bids electronically. Preparation of the technical and financial documents of your bids are outlined in Department Order number 87, series of 2020. Sealings and markings of the bid is also outlined with the said DEO and is reiterated on the bid data sheets. Interested bidders are advised to read this in case your choice is electronic submission. Submit electronic bids to electronicbids_Davao de Oro 2 at DPWH.gov.ph on or before March 14, 2024, before 10 a.m. Please be reminded that your key personnel should only occupy one position in your organizational chart. The application of functions of your key personnel will be a ground for disqualification pursuant to the principle of item number 6 under Department Order number 9, series of 2012. Also, we are requesting the bidders to please indicate your tax identification numbers since it will be used for the awarding of contracts for those who are winning bidders. So further, your bid form and bid of quantities, we will request you to please write legibly. And if you are offering a discount in your bid form, please indicate specifically the methodology as to where or which pay item the discount will take effect. Absence of methodology, original amount will prevail. The discrepancies between words and figures, words will prevail. Bids not addressing or providing, filling out all the required items in the bidding documents, such as in the bill of quantities, the bid is considered non-responsive and is outright disqualified. And we will request you to please check your documents before submitting the same to our end to avoid disqualifications of your opinion. That's all, Mr. Chairperson.
Okay, thank you, very regarding. Also, if you have a detailed estimates, no, be sure in diary post, no, must have you put the OCM, overhead, contingencies, miscellaneous, contractor's profit, but kasi yan ang magamit namin sa construction. There is extra work, no? That's why don't forget put that. Also in writing or style use, Tahuma 11. So, very big para mabasa, no? Clear ba, no? Hirap yung mag-rinse pa tayo, magawa tayo ng rinse, no? Mabasa, no? Saka yung mag-write naman yung maganda. Diba? Islam, baka pagbasa ba, no? Yun lang ay gusto ko yun, no? Yung pagka pa mag-sulat. Dapat ilagay niyo sa Leroy, parang Leroy. Leroy na. Okay. So, huwag yung doktor.
Huwag yung doktor.
Huwag yung doktor ha. Okay. In addition to that, we would like to remind the bidders to submit trainings through email prior to the bidding date. However, only one of these trainings will be able to enter our premises during the bidding activity. So, isa rin na sa amin na para maiwasan din ng sagot, hindi rin sa amin, no? Lalo na sabi kong magulo, kailangan isa lang. At saka, inform no, na kailangan may ID. Kung magawa pa pagpasok na, mapapan ba? Baka hindi, kailangan ma-identify ka agad. Diba? Secretariat, no? Para may titipad ka agad, yun ang gusto ko sana, no? Kaya kailangan yan, no? Pag ganun yung reading. Okay, thank you. Next in order of business is the 1D, no? Criteria and procedure for eligibility check, and this will be discussed to us by Engineer Milando Apolinaria.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. The criteria for eligibility check are set forth in Section 23 of the revised Implementing Rules and Regulation RA 9184. All prospective bidders should have an updated Class A legal, technical, and financial documents and Class B documents if applicable. These documents were already discussed a while ago. During the opening of bids, the first envelope, which contains the technical component of the bid, shall be opened. After opening the first envelope, the back shall simultaneously conduct the electronic eligibility check and preliminary examination of the technical component of the bids. Bidders who are ineligible to participate because their eligibility documents are not updated shall undergo manual eligibility checks based on the submitted eligibility documents. If found to be eligible, will at the same time pass the preliminary examinations of the technical proposal. Their financial proposals will also be open. However, the committee will conduct a second electronic eligibility check after updating the eligibility records of the bidder through the contractor's profile application or through procurement service central office. Result of the latest electronic eligibility processing shall prevail over the manual eligibility evaluation. All open financial components of the bid shall also undergo preliminary examinations. If passed, the committee will bid the bid amount stated in the bid form. The BAC shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria in considering the first, completeness of the bid, and second, arithmetical corrections. Bids shall then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices, as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modification to identify the lowest calculation bid. The lowest calculated bid shall undergo post-qualification in order to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents pursuant to Section 34 of the Procurement Law. If found to be responsive, the bidder will be declared lowest single calculated and responsive bid and will be recommended for award the contract. If found to be non-responsive, the committee will conduct post-qualification of the next lowest calculated bid ranked during the bid evaluation stage. Also, bidders with ongoing contracts should be reminded that the committee will verify if you have existing delayed contract per Department Order number 127 series of 2018, strict application of RA 9184 in the conduct of post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with the DPWH. If you have incurred negative slippage as defined the said DEO or currently being imposed with liquidated damages, you should settle these findings before the period of past qualification ends to avoid post-disqualification of your firm. Also, all requirements set forth in the bidding documents and the instructions relayed during this conference should be addressed and be well taken care of to avoid disqualification or post disqualification. And for equipment verification, the BAC, with the assistance of the equipment verification team, will be strict on the compliance of the equipment as part of post qualification as per DO number 127 series of 2018. As part of the post qualification, the equipment verification team will conduct an inspection the verification of the equipment pledged by the bidder, including other documents to be evaluated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Milando Apolinaria, for that discussion. We are now through with Agenda 1. We proceed to Agenda 2. Questions, comments from leaders, and replies of Bob and other representatives of procuring entity. Questions, questions in general. Okay. Okay lang. Ang view, Boss,
Sa live stream siya wala.
there is none. No? No? We will proceed to,
Sa live.
ha? Wala. Wala rin. Kaya, we'll proceed to Agenda 3. Other matters. Risk right policy against violation of Section 69.1.I of the IRR of RA 9184. Okay, no? Ito ang for information of the everybody, viewers and guests na kailangan may bago na namang update ang risk right policy, no? Yung Department Order number 17 series of 2015 at Department Order number 35 series of 2008 that simply supersede na, and all other issues that are inconsistent with this order supersede na yun. Mayroon ng bago, no? Department Order number 28 series of 2024. Dito bago pa, February 26, 2024. Kaya kailangan recent talaga sa itong pre-strike kasi itong pre-strike policy in the procurement of infrastructure goods and consulting services contract. Ay, binabago nila kasi mayroon pa sigurong doubtful doon sa department o ng dalawang department. Ito na ang bago, no? Kaya introduction ko lang sa policy, no? In order to establish a fair and transparent system for managing offenses committed by leaders in the procurement of infrastructure, goods, and consulting services projects through public bidding, the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH, hereby introduced an updated pre-strike policy. The policy is aimed at enforcing adherence to the procurement guidelines stipulated under Section 69.1.I of the 2016 revised Implementing Rules and Regulation IRR of Republic Act RA 9184. Under the policy, if leader commits three offenses acts described as all other acts that tend to defeat the purpose of competitive bidding, this shall be subjected to an administrative penalty. The offenses acts are further classified to three major categories. And as I give to Engineer Law to discuss and enumerate the categories. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, guests. Okay, this is still in line with the Department Order number 28, series of 2024. The three major categories. So, the first, item number 2, classification of offenses that triggers the three-strike policy and exception. So, first is withdrawal from the bidding process, submission of a non-participation letter, or failure to submit a bid after purchasing the bid documents. However, the Bids and Awards Committee recognizes certain valid reasons for these actions. Letter A, if upon computation prior to bid submission, the bidder determines that the proposed bid price will exceed the approved ABC. To substantiate this, the bidder must provide evidence. Acceptable proof includes but is not limited to a detailed budget estimation or a market price report. If the bidder, after reviewing the bidding documents and evaluating the available market options, determines that the required goods or supplies either are not available or that the available alternatives do not meet the specified technical specifications. Additionally, if providing the specified goods or supplies would require the bidder to incur costs exceeding the competitive and financially viable range, or if adherence to the specification would lead to a bid price that is not economically favorable, the bidder may withdraw. To validate this reason, the bidder should present an affidavit demonstrating that participating in the bid under these conditions would be financially unsustainable. Number two, submission of alleged bids without valid reasons as determined by the bank. Exceptions will be considered under extraordinary circumstances such as force majeure. This refers to unexpected and unavoidable external events that impede or prevent a bidder from timely bid submission, as defined in Article 1174 of the Philippine Civil Code. Number three, submission of patently insufficient bid. A patently insufficient bid refers to a bid that fails to include or comply with certain mandatory requirements. The determination of whether a bidder committed such an offense may occur as outlined below. During eligibility screening and or shortlisting. Number one, submission of an expired certificate of Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System, PhilGEPS, registration platinum membership, or a certificate of PhilGEPS certification containing expired Class A legal and financial documents, as determined during the eligibility screening. Failure to include the certificate of employment, contract agreement among permanent personnel and staff of the firm, and curriculum vitae in the application for eligibility and shortlistings, which are evaluated during the shortlisting for consulting services projects. Letter B. During bid evaluation, failure to submit required bid forms as outlined in Annex C detailing the complete list of required bid forms. Submission of incomplete, insufficient, or defective documents due to the non-inclusion and or omission of mandatory provisions and statements for the required bid forms as per Annex C outlining the mandatory provisions of required forms. Submission of an unnotarized bid securing declaration, an omnibus sworn statement, and joint ventures agreement, or statements from all the potential joint venture partners, with the exception during the declaration of state of calamity, or implementation of community quarantine, or similar restriction declared or being implemented either in the locality of the procuring entity or of the bidder. Submission of the bid form, price schedules, bid securing declaration, omnibus or statement, and joint venture agreement without the name, legal capacity, and signature of the bidder or its authorized representatives. Nomination of key personnel of a profession different from what is required by the bidding documents. Or, in the case of consulting services, proposing a key personnel whose educational background is different from that required by the terms of reference. Failure to submit proof of ownership, lease, or purchase agreement of pledged equipment. Failure to submit the required certification of key personnel as per Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012, or in the case of consulting services, failure to submit certifications as required by the terms of reference. Failure to comply with the required minimum number of key personnel and equipment as stated in the bidding documents. Received during post-qualification. Participation in bidding for consulting services or goods and services contracts by a bidder whose business type category as indicated when the mayor's permit does not match or unrelated to the contract being paid for as determined during the post-qualification process. Participation in bidding for infrastructure projects by a bidder whose allowable range of contract cost as indicated in the pickup license does not match with the specific requirements of the infrastructure project being appealed for in terms of category, classification, and size ranges. Enforcement and penalties. If a bidder commits any of the three major offenses as listed above 3 times within a year, starting from the approval date of the resolution recommending the imposition of strike one first warning, which is counted as day 1, through day 365. And if these three offenses are of a similar or identical nature, it will trigger the enforcement of the stipulated administrative penalty. Suspension from participating in all DPWH procurement activities and entering into contract with any DPWH procuring entity. Subsequently, as per the procedure outlined in Annex A, this may result in the blacklisting of the suspended bidder, thereby disqualifying the bidder from participating in any government procurement activities for a period of 1 year. In conjunction with blacklisting, the bidder will also face bid security forfeiture and must comply with the enforcement of the bid securing declarations condition. In more severe instances, when a bidder commits another set of 3 similar offenses, or more than 2 sets of 3 similar offenses, instances where more than 6 similar offenses occur within the said 1 year time frame, the bidder may be subjected to an increased penalty, resulting in blacklisting for a period of 2 years. The effective duration for the penalty of either 1 or 2 years, as applicable, will be clearly stipulated in the blacklisting order, with the provision that the duration of blacklisting shall not exceed a maximum period of 2 years, commencing on the date the blacklisting order is approved and issued by the Secretary. In enforcing these penalties, the department emphasizes the need for a clear and fair procedure. When an offense leading to a strike is identified, the erring bidder will be promptly notified by the BAC and given a chance to explain their actions before any final decision is made. This procedure helps ensure a well-informed and fair judgment. Furthermore, if a bidder is suspended due to 3 strikes, they have the right to file a request for reconsideration as per the procedure in Annex A. This gives the suspended bidder a formal way to challenge the suspension, showcasing the department's commitment to due process in enforcing the 3-strike policy. Due process and implementation. To ensure that due process is upheld across all stages of procurement, from eligibility screening and shortlisting to bid evaluation and post-qualification, it is essential for the BAC and its technical working group to meticulously verify the monthly consolidated strike report or its updated version at each stage of the procurement process. All BACs are tasked with actively monitoring these updates to accurately track the infractions committed by bidders. Notably, even if a bidder has accumulated 3 strikes, this alone shall not be grounds for ineligibility, disqualification, or post-disqualification until the suspension order is approved by the Secretary and officially posted on the DPWH website. Moreover, if the suspended bidder has filed a request for reconsideration, the awarding of the contract may be deferred until such request is resolved. This approach ensures the integrity and coherence of our procurement system, reflecting our dedication to a transparent and fair process for all participants. Failure of the concerned DPWH personnel to implement the provision of this order after due process will make them liable to the penalties prescribed for violation of reasonable office rules and regulation in Rule 10. Administrative offenses and penalties of the 2017 rules on administrative cases in the civil service dated July 3 of 2017. This order shall take effect immediately and shall supersede Department Order Number 17 Series of 2015, Department Order Number 35 Series of 2008, and all other issuances that are inconsistent with this order. Signed, Manuel M. Bunuan, Secretary. Okay, that's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Engineer Lord. Basta yun, no? Ako yung ipa-discuss no para i-review na ninyo na dapat no kinanglan yun na i-comply and there's lang na kailangan yun para maiwasan na yun yung ato ang strike na pero di man yung dali noon kung isa ka kung na kayo na isang na malian pero sunod dahil na po i-count na siya basta meron yung similar nga no? Pero dapat iwasan yun nato no ang free strike kung na mo yung mga concern mga yung mga ning copy siguro nga para mabuwasan ninyo sila mag-provide mo sa itong mangayo mo sa para may studyhan ninyo yung nga dili dapat mag-free strike so nga tulad yung i-indicate para klaro no magbantay yun mo ani ha kaya kami, kung di na mo ni ko na no, please like, kami po ng kasuhan, nag-iba na last, no? Kami po may ko, kung di na mo ni implement, kami po ng mga administrative, ng perditaan careful na nandiyon. So, that's all sa please strike. Now, we'll proceed to last, number 4, summary of proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletin, will be issued and will be discussed to us by Engineer Leslie Gulito.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All the needed information were discussed and explained by the resource persons. I would like to remind the prospective leaders to visit from time to time the DPWH Jeff's website, especially within 7 calendar days prior to the deadline of the submission of bids for supplemental or bid bulletins to be issued. Please also be reminded that the submission of bids on or before March 14, 2024 is last and late bids shall not be accepted. Bid opening shall be on March 14, 2024, 10:15 a.m. That's all the section.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Gulito. All of the business in agenda were already taken. Bak, meron bang other, meron pa bang questions, no? So tayo mag-close, adjourn.
None so far.
Wala na. Okay, sa inyo wala no? Okay. May I know the pressure of the body?
I move to adjourn this meeting conference.
It has been moved by Engineer Gulito and seconded by Engineer Rubin, and with no objection, the motion to adjourn this conference is hereby approved. This conference is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Good morning. Good morning.